Hello and welcome to our YouTube channel, RV Tips from Jan. Today's topic, how do I avoid buying a recreational trailer that I end up regretting later because of all the problems I'm experiencing with it? Well, this is a tough topic to cover because we'd all like to think that we're going to have a positive experience, especially when we're spending tens of thousands of dollars on a new RV. But if you watch the various YouTube channels and YouTube postings, you know that there are consumers who are having a bad experience with their first RV purchase. So we're going to share with you some suggestions today that we hope will help you to avoid having this experience. And if you do run into the experience of getting an RV that has a lot of problems, we'll give you some ideas that may help you to address those with your dealer. So let's first talk about the manufacturing differences between automotive industry and the recreational vehicle industry. In the automotive industry, as we all know, it's a highly automated process down an assembly line. They're producing tens of thousands of automobiles, and they've got the technology, the machinery, the computer support to do it in a way where every vehicle that comes off that line has a relatively high level of quality built right into the finished product. In the case of the recreational vehicle industry, however, it's quite different. There may be 10, 15, 20 units per day coming off of any given production line. All of those units are going to have a lot of hand operations that are done throughout the process to complete that RV. And also, depending on how busy that particular manufacturer is, there may be a lot of pressure on the workforce to speed up the production to increase the number of products that are actually coming off the line. These are all things that we should keep in mind when we're buying an RV because it makes it significantly different in terms of the level of quality that comes off the finished production line in a recreational vehicle factory. Now, one of the things that differentiates one manufacturer from another is their post-manufacturing inspection process. And those RV units that are known for particularly high quality get a significant post-production inspection process where problems are identified and corrected by the factory. But this very much depends on the level of quality control that they want to build into the finished product. Of course, all of that's going to impact the final cost that you're going to pay for that RV. The next step in the process is going to be a pre-delivery inspection process. Some dealers are quite conscientious in terms of the pre-delivery inspection process and will do everything, including checking the water tank, the water flows, the hot water heater, the refrigeration system, the air conditioner, the furnace, to make sure that everything's working properly. If they do that, then it's up to them to correct any issues or problems that they find. They should also check for fit and finish, and if they find issues there, it's up to them to get them corrected before you take ownership of the RV. There are some dealers, though, that sell so many RVs that it's almost like an assembly line in terms of how they handle the pre-delivery inspection process. And for those dealers, you might find that their inspection process is not nearly as thorough as it should be. The result will be you will discover the issues after you take that RV out on your first trip. How do you know? Well, you can read the reviews online about each individual dealer because those reviews will be very frank assessments by consumers such as yourself as to the quality of the product that that dealer delivered to them when they took it off the lot. Now, let's say that you do get your RV out and you find some issues with it. What do you do about it? Well, if you talk with seasoned RVers, they will tell you that if you can correct that problem yourself, you're best to do that. And why? Well, number one, if you take it back to the dealer, they're probably going to have it for more than a day. And then number two, you don't want to have a long disruption to your experience of getting out and enjoying the great outdoors in your new RV. If it's a cosmetic problem that you can correct yourself, go ahead and do so. If it's something more significant, like the heater or the refrigeration system, or something from a safety standpoint, definitely make an appointment and take it in to the RV dealer. When you make an appointment, reconfirm your appointment before you actually drop it off. Some dealers are notorious for taking your call, telling you that they're setting up the appointment, and then when you go to drop it off for the work, they tell you they have no record of that appointment and you're stuck. So the best process for you to follow is make your appointment, and then the day before you're scheduled to go in, reconfirm your appointment so that when you get there, everything is ready to go. The next thing that you should do in the process is make sure it's well documented as to what the issue is so that you have something for reference later. That would be best to do. Additionally, if you can get some kind of a commitment on the timetable to have the problem corrected, have that included in the documentation that confirms your conversation with that dealer and the repair shop. Okay, so you get the trailer back, and let's say it's taken a week to have the repairs done. And you take it out on your first travel experience, and there's still some problems. What do? Well, you'll want to follow right back up with the dealer and go through that entire process again. But now you're going to start to be a little bit wary of how conscientious their service department has been in terms of addressing your issues, particularly if it's a repeat issue. We've all seen YouTube videos of consumers such as ourselves who have had to take back their RV 2, 3, 4 times for the same problem. If that happens to you, you need to make a tough decision, because at that point, if it were me, I would conclude that you're dealing with a questionable dealer in terms of their ethics. You're going to want to consider getting some legal advice. Now, this seems like a pretty drastic move for a repair of an RV, but because you need to be mindful of the warranty period and don't let that lapse, getting legal advice from an attorney that's used to dealing with recreational vehicle issues is a good next step in the process. And this is for a couple reasons. One, they're going to be able to share with you their knowledge about other consumers who have had challenges dealing with the dealer. Two, they may be familiar with that dealer's record, and based on that, they can give you some good advice. Three, they will help you with the documentation process so that, goodness forbid you have to enter some kind of a lawsuit, that you've got the necessary documentation to support that. And then 4, they will also help you to make sure that you don't exceed your warranty period. Dealers who you have to take your RV back to multiple times for the same problem are using the tactic of let's drag our feet long enough that we get this vehicle out of the warranty period, and then all of the costs for the repairs are going to be up to the consumer. Don't let that happen to you. And again, I know the idea of reaching out to legal counsel is a bit unorthodox in terms of dealing with something like this, but as you get on the internet and read about people who've had bad experiences, you'll find that in the final analysis, working with an attorney will help you to best protect your investment. There are numerous examples out there of consumers who have spent $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 or more, only to find out that the problem just simply is not able to be resolved by their RV dealer, even sometimes after it's been taken back to the factory and worked upon. In that case, having contacted and worked with an attorney will help you make sure that you have the necessary documentation so that if you need to go to court and sue, you will have everything you need to recover your investment. Otherwise, as we read so often on the internet, these folks end up taking a huge loss, selling that lemon at a huge discount, sometimes losing 50% of their initial investment in order to get rid of it and then buy another unit. Don't let that happen to you. If you found this video helpful, please check that subscription box. Thank you.